What's up, party people? It's KeysDAN with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live and in living color from the Radio What studios. And this is my podcast, What Makes You Famous? It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do I always send you? DJLittleRock.com. One more time, DJLittleRock.com. Check availability and get a free price quote. And maybe you can have me at your next event. You know I like to party with the people. The people need to be entertained. Are you not entertained? Let me entertain you. Today on the program, I have Stillwater Junction. Well, at least I have Scotty Willard, the frontman, the lead singer of Stillwater Junction. I'm so excited to let you hear about what's happening with him. We had a few technical difficulties with the Zoom, but hey, no big deal. I think you got the gist. Here, little cuts out. This technology is great to where I can talk to people from around the world. But, it does have its little bugs. Internet has to stay flowing. And I know it's only like 2 seconds here and 2 seconds there, maybe 4 times throughout the whole hour that we talk. But still, it bugs me. But I hope it doesn't bug you too much. I'm excited to let you hear more about Scotty Willard and Stillwater Junction. I know bands like were called that back in the day. It was always the front man usually, or whoever founded the band, and the boom, Buddy Holly and the Crickets. Smokey Robinson and the Miracles. Even if they started out as just the Crickets, the record companies would sometimes say, "Hey, you're the front man. Why don't you be the face and the name of this?" And they get involved most of the time, more often than not. But Scotty Willard, it's not Scotty Willard and Stillwater Junction. It's Stillwater Junction. It's a group of guys that go out and play for you. All right, and you're going to hear a little bit more about that in the next few minutes. This week's shows, I have one public show, 4th of July. That's Friday night at the Rab. Yeah, it happened to fall on a Friday night, so we're going to celebrate our independence right there at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. So excited. It's going to be another Friday night at the Rab, so you know it's going to be good, but it's going to be doubly good because we're going to light this firecracker, metaphorically speaking. No lighting firecrackers in the building, okay? Not even outside the building. All right, keep your firecrackers away. But, fireworks, figuratively speaking, will be flying at the Rab. We're going to have a good time. I'm sure people are going to be singing some freedom songs, some American songs, some songs that make you feel good to be in the country that you are. We got our ups and downs. We got our problems. But we celebrate on the 4th of July, even though I think the Declaration of Independence, I don't know, was it signed on the 4th of July? I think it was something about the 2nd of July. I know I did a little podcast about it years ago that something happened on the 2nd of July rather than the 4th. The 4th is kind of arbitrary in some respects, but it's the date that we've come to celebrate the independence of the United States of America, and I appreciate that. So we'll be doing that on Friday night at the Rab, and it's good that and then on Saturday I got a private show. I think this is probably the 6th year that I've been working for this family, somewhere around the 4th of July, either the Saturday before or the Saturday after. I get to go and play for this family, and it's not just their family. They have a big, gigantic block party in their big yard. They got a pool, they got a big gigantic front yard and backyard, and people are just everywhere having a good time. And then of course they have a big gigantic fireworks show for the whole block, for the whole neighborhood. Really, I guess you could see it technically maybe from outer space. They got so many fireworks, but I'm very privileged and very honored to be a part of that family's show. So Friday night at the Rab, come out and play with us. It's the video dance party, karaoke, jam, full bar, kitchen, pool tables, pool tournament on Friday nights. So it's going to be a good time on Friday night. That's the public show. But unless you're invited to the block party, I don't know. Can you come to the block party? If you know where it's at, you go, because I'm not going to tell you where it's at. But if you happen to see some fireworks on Saturday, then hey man, maybe head towards them. And if you happen to see me or my van, or hear me playing, or hear my voice on the microphone, come on by, say hello. Here I am inviting people to come to this random house. Hey, I'm sure they're happy to have that party going. Just don't eat all their food, okay? All right? And don't swim in their pool. Let me tell you, this guy, he's a nice guy. He really is. And man, I'm so happy to be a part of the family celebration. Just one of the things you could do as an entertainer. Speaking of entertainment, so good, being that we're celebrating the independence of the United States of America. I got a band that's very Americana out of North Carolina, Stillwater Junction. I got Scotty Willard on the Zoom. He's the front man. He's the lead singer. He's on Zoom. So if you're listening to the audio version, check out the video version on my YouTube, youtube.com/user/KeysDAN. Zooming Scotty Willard of Stillwater Junction now. What's happening? Tell me a story.
What's up, bud? What type of story you want to hear?
A bedtime story, because it's it's getting close to that. All right.
No, it's nowhere near bedtime.
Nowhere near bedtime, depending on where you at, man. I think the late great B.B. King, one of the things that was in his song was the life of a musician or the life of an entertainer. You go to work at 9 p.m. You go to sleep just around the time that the sun starts coming up. Sometimes you don't get out of that club until late, man. But it's good because the people are having a good time. That means that things are going right, that Stillwater Junction is grooving the people. Is it, well, I got one member of Stillwater Junction, or are you Stillwater Junction? Is that the primary thing?
I am the lead vocalist and basically the one that founded the band. And then we have 3 other members as well. I sent them invites. I don't know if they're going to chime in or not. It all depends. But you've got the one that created it and the one that's standing in front, entertaining, writing the original music, and singing for everyone.
Okay, well, that seems to be the thing when I get into bands. The front man is the front man. Okay, the front person, the front. You're the lead singer, lead guitarist, the person that's going to be the face of this institution. Some musicians don't want to be out in front, don't want to have some fame. They want to play their instruments and just be left alone after that. Give me my money. Let me go get my drinks. Maybe grab something to eat, and then go on about my business. I don't want to be bothered. Okay, but Scotty Willard, you put together Stillwater Junction, and you want to be, well, whether you like it or not, you're going to be the face of this institution. Has fame brought you any kind of problematics? How the paparazzi treating you? Let's put that way.
Well, it's not really problems with paparazzi. I mean, of course, with any type of notoriety, you're going to pull in different characters from different fields, I guess the best way to put it. We've brought in more people that love us than we have people that actually hate us. Well, yeah. And I can't really say hate. I guess it's just we're not on the same exact wavelength, I guess the best way to put it is. So, it's not really hate, because no musician hates another musician. I guess it's a difference of opinion, I guess the best way to put it.
Yeah, I've never met a hater that's doing better than me. Okay, and I know that we have. It's good that I'm talking to you, Scotty, from Stillwater Junction. It's good that I'm talking to you just before the 4th of July, because Stillwater Junction seems to be an Americana band, a down home, dirty South American band. If you go out to go see a Stillwater Junction show, you're going to feel like, all right, I'm happy to live in this country. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy, look, we don't all get along. We don't all have the same beliefs, but we all kind of want the same goals. We want the roof over our head, the food on our plates, a little money on our pockets. Okay, that is the same goal. It's just that people achieve it in different ways. You know, all right, if I want to take care of my people, let me give them some money. No. All right, I want to take care of my people. Let me teach them how to make money. Okay. I mean, there's different ways of getting people to where they need to be. I mean, I don't know what the school of thought is. I can guess what the school of thought. Well, you're in North Carolina. My brother moved to North Carolina for a little while. My best friend moved to North Carolina for a while. Let me know, what is a Pilot Mountain, North Carolina? How is it growing up for a Scotty Willard in Pilot Mountain?
I mean, yeah, I mean, you basically hit as far as what the band actually stands for. We are a small town country rock, southern rock band. I mean, our roots are planted deep into this wonderful ground that we live upon. We 100% American band. We are huge supporters of our U.S. military and our veterans. We just love to actually write music and tell stories to people that all people around the world from all shapes of life can actually listen to our music, and it'll touch them in a different way, and it actually brings out something in them that they might have forgot about, or something that they're not realizing about themselves. So we're basically set up to tell stories on the stage, like whenever we're performing live, and also in our songs that you're streaming or listening to on the radio. If you listen to any of our music, it tells a story from the beginning to the end, which is how music was when I grew up, especially country, blues, southern rock and rock. They all told stories. And that's the way that I learned how to write music and lyrics. So that's what I continued with.
Okay, well, let's talk about you growing up. So it sounds like you and I have similar upbringings in the fact that we went and played outside and had friends and, you know, played in the dirt. I fully believe that I did not get COVID because I ate a lot of dirt out in the Everglades of Florida. I played with alligators. Gator jumping was a thing for me as a kid. You know, I know. All right, a lot of my friends and my family from South Florida moved to North Carolina. Why is there a draw in North Carolina? What makes people, is there prosperity? I mean, my brother went there for a little while. He prospered, and then he moved to Walla Walla, Washington. And my best friend, he moved there. He prospered for a while, and then he moved to somewhere around Washington, D.C., working for the government. So, you know, what is the draw of North Carolina? Why do people flock there for opportunity? What's good about it?
Well, I mean, I'm not really sure exactly what's so exceptionally great about it, but I know that our weather can be unpredictable at times. You can have all 4 seasons in 1 week. But we do have beautiful coasts. We have amazing mountains. We have amazing, like flat lands and like foothill areas. So it kind of gives you a combination of the whole United States in one state, I guess the best way to put it. So that might be the draw of everybody to move to North Carolina, is because wherever you live at, you're not that far. You're a couple hours drive to getting to a mountain region, a coastal region. You can get to, like, I mean, it's like the focal point, the last stop of the southern states, I guess the best way to put it. It's the first stop when you're coming south, and it's the last stop when you're going north.
All right, just south of the Mason-Dixon.
And plus, I mean, yeah, and it's just south of the Mason-Dixon. But I mean, and also it's a lot of country music, Americana music, bluegrass music, and you know, all those genres originated in the Appalachian Mountains and right here in North Carolina. So I mean, its roots run deep with music and history.
Well, in my radio career, I've worked at sports radio as well, and people tell me that North Carolina has the best golf. Have you heard of this?
Now I have heard of that. We do have a lot of beautiful country clubs around North Carolina and a lot of beautiful courses around North Carolina. We actually have a nice one here in Pilot Mountain, North Carolina as well.
Well, the nice thing about being in a band is you get to see some of these places. Maybe you don't get to spend a lot of time. I know people that tour around the world. Oh, you've been to France? Oh, you've been to Japan? Oh, you've been to the... I didn't get to see much of it. I saw the hotel and I saw the bar, and that's it. You know, I saw the venue.
Yeah. I mean, that's the bright side of being in it, and also the dark side of being in it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you go
a lot of places, but you don't see a lot of them.
Yeah, okay, and I do. You know, some of them have the fortune of staying an extra day, or even bringing along their families. You know, and I know I mentioned the paparazzi and the fandom of being in a band. I mean, you know, I don't know if you're a married man or anything, but sometimes the fandom gets a little crazy. You know, even the small modicum of fame that I had when I was in South Florida. I'm in Arkansas now, pretty close to Little Rock in Conway, Arkansas. But you know, I moved from the South to the deep South. You know, if that makes any sense, because when I was told in Miami, that's the biggest suburb of New York. It's really that's a gigantic melting pot down in Miami, and I moved to Arkansas. And it was a little different kind of people. It's more of a conservative state, more of a you know, keep it like it was. Quit changing things so much. Keep it simple. You know, try to take care of each other, but you know, stay out of my business. That kind of thing. Stay off my lawn and stay out of my pocket. Yeah. How's the feeling in North Carolina? Is it similar or is it different?
Yeah, I mean, I can say that it's a melting pot as well. I mean, because you can go to Charlotte and Raleigh, and it's a large Latino and it's a large Latino Hispanic. It's a melting pot in our bigger cities like in Charlotte, Raleigh, Durham, Greensboro itself. I mean, it is a wide range of individuals that you can actually mingle with here. We don't get that many like out of towners that actually, you know, travel, that, you know, come here to visit that much around, you know, like these smaller cities that we're in. But yeah, I mean, I can say that it's also a very large melting pot. It's not bad and it's not great, but it's right there in the middle.
See, I kind of like that, man. You know, that's where most people live. Okay. There is the far right, there is the far left, but most people hang out here somewhere in the middle, center right, center left, somewhere in the middle, trying to thrive and survive. But you know, I'm guessing, is North Carolina kind of a conservative state? Is that do you have your governor, is a Republican kind of guy?
It's not really a conservative state. I mean, you have, you know, the vast majority of people, you know, consider themselves conservative, but I think it's more of a Republican-based state. I mean, I don't really get too much into politics. I try to keep politics and religion out of almost every facet of my life, because that's conversations that wind up hurting people's feelings when you're not trying to.
Yeah, but that's the thing about what you're singing about. You're singing about America. You're singing about people, you know, getting back to the values. You're going to hurt some feelings. You mentioned earlier that you have some haters. You're going to get that. You're going to get people that don't like what you're doing. You know, when you're singing their songs and you point back to the American flag, you know, because, you know, that's the value you want. You're going to alienate, well, the aliens. You're going to alienate people that are not from this country, that don't understand. But the reason that they're in this country is to learn about this country and to melt into this country, the melting pot that is America. And you sing about that. You sing about American values. And
Well, see,
we're young. We're a young country, but we have some kind of a culture.
oh yeah, most definitely. But I mean, it goes back to the melting pot. I mean, we have multiple cultures that have melted in to make what our culture is that's considered America. I mean, like our fan base, we've got fans in every religion, every ethnic origin. And it's beautiful because, one of our songs they might not agree with completely, but then three of our songs they might love because, so um, as far as our music, I try to write to where you can relate to it regardless of skin color, regardless of religious beliefs. You can relate to it in some way, shape, or form. You're going to be able to relate to at least one of our songs.
Well, that's the thing about music. It is universal. It does bring people together. The harmonies, the chord progression, the theory of music is the reason that people are listening to Beethoven and Mozart hundreds and hundreds of years after their songs were made, is they're still relevant. People are still trying to emulate, trying to copy.
Oh, yeah.
Now, when you're writing your music, if you limit yourself to what you think people are going to like, that might take a little bit of your soul away, but I'm guessing you don't primarily just do that. You don't think, if I write this, is it going to offend somebody? No, you find something in your heart. I'm guessing, maybe I'm just projecting. If you find something that you find interesting, that you want to write about, that you want to make a song about, are you actively thinking, is this going to hurt that guy's feelings if I write about this?
No, not in particular. I mean, we try to cover all aspects in our in our music, and when we sit down and we actually brainstorm. But I mean, as far as my lyrics, I try to pick up on like everyday things. I mean, like situations that people are going through, things that I might have went through in the past, or someone I know might have went through in the past, things that are going on now. I pull inspiration from everything that in my life, and my friends' lives, my family's lives, and what's going on in the world today. It doesn't make a difference. I'll pull inspiration from anything. I mean, as well as our song, which is our veteran song, the first one we released, which was, it's titled "One of the 22." It basically tells the story of a young man who enlists in the military and goes through everything as far as overseas, as far as multiple tours, multiple marriages, kids, how the government isn't really helping, but they are helping. And it's basically, it tells the story to help raise awareness for veteran suicide, because there's 22 veterans a day on average that commit suicide because they can't deal with the things that are going on in their head, when they come back from wars. And, and when they leave and they come back, things aren't the same here, and they're not the same they was when they left. But and then our latest single, which is One Light Town, it talks about the rural living people, the people that lives outside in these small towns that they have to find things to enjoy, so it's the local bar, going down there and drinking some drinks with your friends and picking up the ladies, to, basically going into the barn where it's dirt wood floors. Like as far as inspiration, I'll pull inspiration from anything. So, like on an average, I average anywhere between, like I could go a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks without writing one lyric, and then I could write 6 songs in one day. So, and I don't force any of my inspiration. I allow it to come to me.
Well, I appreciate that you brought up the 22 project. That is a that's something that I heard about quite some time ago, and I did hear about the 22 Project where they are helping veterans. I do have the privilege of going to the Choctaw VFW and playing there. Choctaw, Arkansas. I play there about once a month, usually the last Saturday, the second to last Saturday of the month, and going to play not just for the veterans. I mean, yes, the veterans are the ones that are sitting at the bar, and I do karaoke shows. And to have a veteran come up, I have one guy comes up and sings Sam Stone by John Prine, talking about cocaine and heroin and abuse. And, spoiler alert, at the end of the song, Sam Stone dies. And at the end of that song, Paulie, who's doing the karaoke version, he comes up and he says, hey, if you're having problems, suicide hotline. And he always makes mention of it. I know when he sings that song, he's going to have a public service message at the end of that song. And it's good that you bring that up, man. My brother was in the Navy for 6 years, never got on a boat. I don't know how that happened, but he never got on a boat. His story is here on the podcast somewhere if you look back on it. But, I have a lot of friends and family that were in and out of the military, some that saw combat, and some that, especially over at the Choctaw VFW, I talked to some of these folks, and some of them got messed up in their career in the armed forces. Yeah. So it's good that you have that in the back of your mind when you're writing these songs, when you're thinking about different aspects of life, not just in your family, but also as a songwriter, you get to embellish. You get to be a storyteller. Some people do it in books and some people do it in movies. Scotty, you do it in songs, man. And that's like a magic trick, is you could bring these stories to life. But when did that happen for you? Were you an English major? Were you a good student in school? Were you the class?
No, not really. I was the class clown. I was the class clown. I was the problem child. But no. I mean, I started writing poetry when I was young, and then as life got on and I got older, other things came along, and then as I got older in my life, I decided around 38, 39 years old to start writing again, and instead of poetry, I started writing music. And then that evolved into starting the band when I was 40 years old. And that evolved into, this is year 4. And we released our first album. We released 2 more singles. We're in the studio now recording our next 5-song EP that's going to be released hopefully by the beginning of next year. Like once I decided to start writing again, it was a never-ending force, and I'm grateful for it, because it's led me to where I am now, and it's allowed me to touch a lot of people and be able to meet a lot of amazing people that I wouldn't have been able to meet, if I would just continue doing what I was doing. So, yeah, I started writing again when I was about 38, 39, and started the band 39, 40. And we've been going at it. This is our first live show was January 1st, 2022. So, and it's been a fast-paced run since then. We were nominated for 9 nominations in 3 different music award shows. Last year, we were honored to bring home at least 1 music award win in each one of those 3. And then they were nominated for another music award this year. So, yeah, we've been signed to big records back in February, and we're possibly going to be getting picked up by a very reputable management and booking company next month. So, it's been a fast moving pace, and I don't consider it slowing down anytime soon, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I saw that in your accolades, Scott Willard. Is you had some ISSA awards, and it's nice to be recognized when you the independent. I guess it's the Independent Songwriters Association or something like
Yes.
that. Yeah, it's nice that to have that for the independents, the people that aren't signed for the quote unquote big labels, and I'm glad that you have big records in your background as well. Ever since I got involved or associated with them, is they've been sending me performer after creator after performer. It seems like they want to build up. You've gotten to this level on your own. They're going to help you get to that next level. They're putting shows together. They're putting television specials together. They're putting people together with other people. When you go to those International Songwriters award shows, you'll get different bands playing on the same stage, and that audience is going to get exposed to more. You're going to get exposed to more ears. Maybe they never heard of Stillwater Junction. I don't know how they never heard of Stillwater Junction. You guys are everywhere, all over your social medias. But you're talking about you starting back up at 39. You were a poet. Okay, there's something that had to have happened between little baby Scotty Willard and then 39-year-old Scotty Willard. What were you doing in all that time to get you prepared to where you are now? Life happened. Life got in the way. What were you doing?
Yeah. Let's see. 2 marriages, 2 divorces, 2 children. Life happened.
Okay. Well, I mean, you married some people.
And
you made some little people.
And after all that, well, yeah, and I wasn't even thinking about starting the band, and then my now wife, which is my 3rd wife, we got together, and like we'd have friends over that were local musicians. They would come over, and we'd have things called Sunday Fun Days. They'd come over, we'd play cornhole, we'd pull out the instruments, like we'd sing and play the guitars and the cajones and the harmonicas and just have a good time. And at about September, October of 2021, one of the individuals that is now considered family, and he's also my lead guitarist and backup vocalist in the band. Like he was here. He'd been to numerous ones, and it was getting late in the night, and people had started to venture away. Me and him were sitting out front on the porch, and he had just finished a project with another band that they weren't doing anything anymore. And I looked at him and I was like, "Hey, dude, you want to start a band?" And he was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Cool." And he asked, he's like, "What genre?" And I was like, "Country." And he was like, "Just country?" And I'm like, "Well, country has multiple co-op genres." I was like, "So country rock, outlaw country rock, southern rock." And he was like, "Oh, okay." And I was like, and he looked at me, he was like, "So we got any songs?" I was like, "I got a few written." And he's like, "Well, I've got a few written." And that's literally how the band began. And then our drummer came along after that, and then our bass player came along after that, and we've been hitting the road and been playing live shows ever since.
Yeah, think about that outlaw country. A little more Morgan Wallen, a little less Marty Robbins. Roy Rogers, that kind of thing. Well, even Hank Williams Sr.'s got a little taste. The ones that came before still have little fingerprints in the music that you play today. But hey, look, you married some people, you made some people, you got a forever wife now that seems like she's in your corner, and she's backing you up in this adventure, in this endeavor. It takes a certain kind of person that's going to let you go out at night, probably on your own. And, I don't know if you bring the wife along to some of your gigs. Sometimes that gets problematic.
She doesn't make it to all of them because she might have prior arrangements, but she probably makes it to at least 85% of our shows, unless they're an out-of-state show, which we're starting to play more of those now. Then she won't make those. It's just us band members. But if they're in state and more than likely she's going to be there at 85 to 90% of them, which is awesome because, I mean, yes, she is my biggest supporter and my biggest person in my ear, to help keep me grounded when I need to be grounded. But yeah, I mean, and the cool thing about it is she knows music as well because she lived in Australia for 5 years and she was like a music promoter and like a booking agent and for like bands that we know now this day and time that weren't big back then when she was dealing with them. She worked for a company called Sanity. Like Fall Out Boy, she knew Fall Out Boy before they got big. She knew Artifice before they got big. Red. I mean, there's a bunch of bands that she knew, like she's playing Uno with the lead singer of Fall Out Boy, and she was cooking them all, like cupcakes and stuff. So yeah, I mean, it's cool that she's been on the business side of it, so she kind of understands.
No, man, it's nice to have that kind of person in your corner, feeding you Vegemite sandwiches and the like. If she's living in Australia, I never had a Vegemite sandwich, but I heard about them. Men at work kind of saying to me about them. But it's nice to have.
I've never had one either, but she's told me about them.
Okay, but hey, by the same token, my wife maybe has gone to 2% of all the hundreds and maybe thousands of gigs that I've done over the course of our relationship. But it's nice to have someone like your wife, to where she's defending you from all those fangirls and making sure that they don't get too close to the stage. Hey, that's up there. That's mine. That's mine. But hey, look, it's good, and she knows the business side. Some kids grow up and they say, I want to be a performer, and then they get a raw deal. There's a possibility that some record company, not big records because they're awesome, but some record company can go up to a kid who's got some talent that's singing songs in the auditorium, and they'll say, hey, you know what? I'm going to give you $5,000 if you'll sign on the dotted line. And they don't know the business side of it like your wife does.
But what they don't tell you is, what they don't tell you about that is the dark side that they don't realize is, now we're going to take you and change you into what we want you to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, that's the great thing about being an independent artist. We can remain who we are. We don't have to change because, and that's the beautiful thing about big records. They don't want us to change. They're like, we like you the way you are. That's why we were interested. Mm-hmm. Stay the way you are. I mean, so yeah, I mean, there is a dark side to this, life. And thankfully the majority of us independent artists don't have to deal with it, but there are some that do have to deal with it, and I'm thankful that we don't.
Yeah, I think say that. I think that reflects a lot of relationships. Some girls will find a broken man and say, I could change him. I could fix him. Sometimes, especially when you get to your late 30s, early 40s, you get to a certain age, you're set in your ways. Your brain has formed. You figured out what you want to be. But I'm glad that you found this person at this stage of life. You've got all the stories that you need to tell. You've got all the oats sown. I think you're settled in and ready to go the long haul with all these relationships, with not only your wife, but also with the Stillwater Junction relationship, because that is a relationship that you got to keep together. Putting 3 or 4 guys in a certain spot at a certain time to play for a certain amount of time, it takes a lot to bring people together. And it's nice, man, that you've lived a life already. You've had your experiences. How the kids doing? Are they holding up? Or what are they up to?
They're grown now. They have their own lives now.
Did any of them get into the music business?
So it's Dad's turn to live his life.
I got you. I got you. But, at 39, and you just come up and say, let's start a band. Did you even know how to sing? Did you know how to play an instrument previous to this? You said you were a poet. Were you singing at all?
Well, actually, I can't. I can't play an instrument. I started singing when I was like 12, 13, 14.
Okay.
Like I've sang almost the majority of my life, not professionally, but I've sang. Done like contests and karaoke, and I've been hired to do like solo things here and there. Long before the band. But no, I mean I can't play an instrument to save my life. I've tried to learn, it just doesn't happen.
Hey,
So I did. So I guess I was just meant to sing, entertain, perform, and write music.
Hey, sometimes the voice is your instrument, and if you do try to pick up a guitar or play a keyboard, it might take away from that. Because when I listen to Phil Collins playing his drums, just playing the drums, he's awesome. But he's playing and singing, you can hear that he's singing to the beat of his drums, which is great, but it develops a cadence of sorts when, you can be more Mick Jagger running back and forth around the stage, getting involved with the crowd, more Elvis Presley, more of the, able to get to contact, to look someone in the eyes rather than having to pay attention to your guitar string while you're trying to remember that lyric. That's a lot, man. That hurts my head that people can do that people can do 2-3 things at the same time. A drummer, for example, but working.
Oh, I don't even want to talk about drummers.
Arms and legs all at the same time, in different directions. How do you do that? Even a guitarist, you could see them. At least they look down at their strings. Am I pressing the right one? Okay, I'm pressing the right one. I don't think I ever see a drummer really clock all the different locations of his tom-toms and his cymbals and his bass drums. No, it's crazy that musicians can do what they do.
Yeah.
But it all gels together. Unless you're listening to fusion jazz where everybody's playing their own thing, somehow you guys are playing all the same notes, all the same melodies, getting it together. Now, you said you were, like karaoke and contest when you were 12 and 13. How did that evolve, man? How did you get the idea? Was that school projects? Were you in the school play? Being a poet? What kind of things were you getting into in school?
My like in the younger days, I done real good in like art class and like drama and stuff, but then like after I got out of high school, I would go and enter like karaoke contests and stuff. I won many of them, which was amazing by far. But then there was years, I mean, like there was, hell, I don't know, probably 10 or more years that I didn't go sing anywhere. And then I got a little older, and it just dawned on me. I was like, you know what? It's time for me to live my life now. So I decided to start singing again, and this is what has evolved from it, and I am thankful for it every day.
So for that almost 20 years, what were you doing to thrive and survive? If you want to divulge your day job, that's fine, but what kind of a skill did you have to make a living?
But I was a blue collar man. I worked in the construction field, all types of construction fields, from building houses to repairing and remodeling houses to doing asphalt and paving to being supervisor at concrete pipe companies, working for like the traffic control people. I mean, I done everything that was considered blue collar, I guess the best way to put it. So in that whole time spurt, I was a blue collar man.
Man, I spent my 20s working with my hands. Talk about pipe fitting. I was in fire extinguisher service. I was a firefighter for a while, but on my off days, I worked in the fire extinguisher service fitting black pipe. So having your hands come home with that black pipe on your hands, that it may or may not come off. And then my boss, whenever we didn't have days of work, he had 3 Jaguars sitting in his parking lot, in his driveway, and only one of them worked. So he used the other 2 to fix the one that did work. And guess who was underneath that Jaguar some of the time? So yeah, working with your hands and getting them dirty.
Well, see, I mean, that's what I did too, because I was a mechanic by trade. For many years on cars, trucks, and also motorcycles. So, yeah. So anything that a blue collar man could do, probably I done it.
All right. And that is an experience. That is a life experience that lends itself to songwriting. Okay. I'm watching your video, All That Matters. And I appreciate that you made a video for this. It's, I'm a child of the MTV era. Okay. I was born in 1969, but I grew up in the 80s. I remember when video killed the radio star, when MTV played music videos. Yeah. And then later in life, as technology permitted, I was able to evolve from being a music DJ playing records, and now I play music videos. So All That Matters is going to be up there on my video screen at the club at the Rab on Friday night, and I'll be playing that. And especially, and then on Saturday I have a show for the 4th of July, which is really the 5th of July, but it's for a family. So I'm going to play All That Matters by Stillwater Junction, and because this video is America, man. I rode motorcycles when I was a kid, and I rode those all through high school, and that was my mode of transportation. And I see this video. All right, tell me about All That Matters. I want to know, how did that song come about? What inspired you, and who made that video?
Okay. All That Matters is actually a song that a local singer-songwriter musician from around our area. His name is James Vincent Carroll. He has released, I think he's releasing now either his 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, maybe 20th album in his career. And he's in his lower 50s. That was a song that cause he's part of our musician family around here. I went through his archive music. He had actually written and released that song like 2020, like 2004, I think it was. Like, he had totally forgot about that song. And I brought it up to him, and I was like, hey, I'd like to cover this song. And he was like, well, you might want to contact the artist. And I'm like, it's your song. And he was like, no, it's not. And I'm like, yes, it is. And he looked it up and was like, man, I don't even remember releasing that song. So me and him sat down, and we decided to co-write it together, to change a few things on it. And it basically tells a story of, any individual can relate to this song, where life happens, you have bad relationships, you decide to turn to the devil, so it be, do bad decisions, alcohol, drugs, the crazy things that you'll do in life. You decide to step away from the calm and go into the uncalm, step away from the discovered, and let's see if we can discover something new. And it's telling the story that you're going to have people out there that aren't going to agree with you 100%. They're not going to like the way you look, the way you talk, your religious belief, your political belief, the way you think, act. They're just not going to like you for some reason. That's just the way that this world is now. But it doesn't matter what their opinion is, as long as you are okay with the person that you're looking back in the mirror at every day. And as long as the man upstairs is okay with the person you are, nobody else's opinion matters.
Yeah, that is correct.
That's the moral of that whole entire song.
All that matters. Now, you mentioned mistakes in your life, but I think of it like NASA thinks of it. It's your first attempt at success. It didn't quite work out. So that's the way I want to look at life. Ever since I heard that term, it kind of changes my attitude. All right, have I made some mistakes in my life? Well, I'm going to look at it as first attempts at success. It didn't quite go the way that I wanted it to, but it was a learning experience. And you've learned a lot, man. You've learned so much that you can put into your songwriting. It's nice to be prolific. You were talking about some musical artists or some creators that got in bad juju with their record companies. The two examples that come to mind are Prince. Prince got out of it. The reason he changed his name to that symbol is because he wanted to put out 10 albums a year, and his record company wanted him to put out one a year. That's it. But he had so much creative juice in his head that, and there's still supposedly there's 50 years of there's so much archive still sitting in Minneapolis that has never been heard.
Oh, yeah.
That I'm sure people are going through and putting together, and we're going to have Prince albums coming out, just like Michael Jackson albums came out, and Tupac albums came out well after they were gone, and Elvis albums came out well after they were gone. And then I think of Taylor Swift, who, I don't know, I guess she got out of she couldn't get her masters back. The stuff that she blood, sweat, and tears wrote these songs, and she couldn't get the masters back, so she re-recorded everything. And you don't want to get into that. I'm glad you have a partner, a wife that is in the business side of it, has the acumen to say, I don't know if you want to sign on that line, or hey, sign on that line. That is the spot to go. Making sure that your gigs are right. Does she kind of serve as a manager to you a little bit? Does she kind of help you decide on what shows you want to do?
In the beginning, she did.
Okay.
In the beginning, she did, but as it progressively went on, she stepped back. I'm basically the man behind the curtain for Stillwater Junction, minus all the team that Big Record has built us and the management company that we're fixing to sign with next month. Up until that point, I'm the man that was behind the curtain. I'm the man that was our booking agent. I was the manager. I was the one dealing with the business accounts. I was the one dealing with all the social medias, the websites, the online merchandise store, our drop ship coffee company, everything business side. I've been the one that's been handling and dealing with all of it for the last 3 years, which is okay. I mean, because, I've had to learn the ins and outs, some of them the hard way, but, it's made me a better musician and a better business musician doing that, so that I can see where things might not be correct and I can avoid them. I can tell if something's going to not work out the way it should, so I can back off and go a different direction. It's taken some years to learn that, but I guess the best way to put it is, because of all of the ups and downs, it shaped me into the business musician that I am now, which has helped us grow as quickly as we have.
Well, this music business is a hustle. It's constantly a hustle. It's you're trying. Yes, you're at this gig, but you're always thinking about how to get to the next gig. Say you're playing at this club. Yep. If you do a good job, are they going to want to have you come back to that club so you can keep continuing on? And you've already alluded to it. The social media part of it is now a part of it. We grew up well before. All you had to do was sell records and perform live on stage, and that was what you had to do.
Yeah.
When I first started this DJ thing, it was 2 turntables and a microphone, and that's it, man. And sometimes I didn't have to get on the microphone. Sometimes I was just playing the music, and I had an MC that was out there doing the microphone work, the hype work. But then I became the MC, and then I became the DJ, and then I had to be the guy designing the flyers and putting it out on social media. You know, so it is a hustle to get the next gig. All right, you're at this one performing, but it's nice that you have a team now. You have people behind you that are going to help you get to that next level, because you know, this keeping up with social media, it is a constant headache, because if you don't put your name out there, you're going to get forgotten. Yeah. You will get forgotten in 24 hours. If you don't post every day, people are going to go, Stillwater who? Stillwater, Junction. Yeah, I remember those guys.
Exactly.
Are they still doing it? Are they still out there in North Carolina? All right, you already alluded, and I know I've kept you some time. I want to start landing this plane. You know, you already alluded to the type of gigs that you're doing. You're going out of state. You know, you're places that your wife may or may not want to go. I'm glad that she stepped back from the business side of it and is playing more of a supporting role, because the business side is a headache. You know, keeping the money together and making sure you get paid.
It is.
You know, at the end of a show, you're expecting you get that check from the club owner, and sometimes that check don't come. You know, you got to fight sometimes to, you know, we didn't make as much business as we thought. We were going to pay you $1,000, but we're only going to pay you $500 and a couple of drinks. Would you like a hamburger on the way out the door? No. I need that $1,000.
Yeah, well, see, the first year we was out, I ran into some of those, and then I got smarter. Like I said, learn from your mistakes. Every single venue that books us now signs a contract. So that everything is laid out in that contract. So when we get there, there's nothing to talk about. We're going to perform, pay us. This is the amount that you signed and agreed upon. We'll give you the show you paid for. Thank you.
Well, as you get on different levels in this business, you come up with riders. I remember famously, one of the riders on Van Halen was No Brown M&Ms, and you start getting those riders, you know, in the green room. I mean, are there clubs that still have green rooms? I'm guessing there's still venues where
there are.
Okay, but in those green rooms, do you have a rider on your contracts that you need certain things in those?
But we're actually, on some of our out of state shows, you know, like we have to provide a rider, but we try not to go overboard. I mean, there's a certain type of water that I like, so I put that on there. I don't really drink, so you know, there's a certain beer that the band members like. We put that on there. There's really no crazy food type things like only green M&Ms or only yellow Skittles. I mean, we try to keep our things as simple as possible, because the number one rule in this band is always remain humble and don't forget where you come from. So we try to make sure that wherever we provide our services that we're not running them ragged for something crazy just to be doing it, because what's the point of doing that? I mean, you're hiring us. We want to come perform for you and provide the service for you that you're hiring us for. We're not going to run you around town because we want sushi, but it can only be red.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, we're not going to, so our riders are extremely simple. There's a certain type of water, a certain type of beer, and most of the time that's about it.
Yeah, a little secret of the stars, and it may or may not be well known, but it's just you, me, and the listener here. The rider is just to make sure that the person that's signing that contract has read that contract, has read that rider. The reason, Yeah, the reason there's only green M&Ms.
Oh, trust me, I know because I spoke to a couple. Yeah, I spoke to a couple artists about that, and they informed me of that. They were like, "We don't want it. We just put it. Our management puts it on there just to make sure that the company that's signing us is paying attention to what they're signing."
Exactly.
And I'm like, "Huh? Okay."
Yeah. And that's little words of advice to any of the artists that are out there listening, that want to follow in the footsteps of Scotty Willard with the Stillwater Junction. Those are bits of advice. Don't get taken. When they start offering you things that are too good to be true, they probably are too good to be true. That $5,000 I was talking about, you got to pay that back. And you got to pay, if you don't read that contract, you got to pay for all the albums you put together. You got to pay for the flyers. You got to pay for the promoter. You got to pay for, out of your side. Oh, we're only taking 10%. Plus, we're taking this plus this plus this. It becomes a big old math problem that you don't want to deal with. And you have to deal with it because the music business, half of it is music, and half of it is business. If you want to make a career out of this. Now, you did allude that you're not just in the music business. You're doing what a lot of artists are doing. People aren't making a lot of money on their streams. They make money on their live shows here and there. A lot of people aren't making money on the streams, but you're selling coffee. You got some merchandise. If you go to stillwaterjunction.com, you got a few things on there that, you got a club that'll tell you. You got places there's merch. And I like that. The way to support an artist these days is not just going to the shows, but it's also buying a T-shirt. Do you have a merchandise table at the end of your shows where you can go and sign some autographs and press flesh and talk to the people?
Yeah, at a lot of our shows we do that. We've got more stuff. We've got more of a larger variety of things at our live shows that we don't provide on our online store. So that way we know if someone has it, we know if they've been to a live show or if they've ordered it online. We try to keep it separated. But yeah, I mean, we are all about our fans and our followers because the way that we view it is without them, we wouldn't be where we are now.
Yeah.
So we are all about our fans and our fans are all about us because of that. I mean, there's a lot of artists out there that won't take 5 minutes to talk to someone, just out of random. We have no problem with it. If we're not performing and you see us out, stop us. We'd love to talk to you. I mean, if we are performing, like whenever we take a break or before or after the show, stop us. We'll be glad to talk to you. We're not the ones that we hide in the back and then we come out perform and then we go back in the back and we want nothing to do with the fans. No, because they're the reason why we're there and they're the reason why we get this chance to be able to perform live, to write original music and release it, to be able to connect to facets of people all over the world. They're the reason why we are Stillwater Junction. So why would we not want to mingle with them?
Yeah, at certain levels, you do want to stay involved, but there's some, if you get to that level to where the paparazzi are chasing you around, where you are the $20 million per movie, $20 million per album band, they're $20 million per book, per poem person, where your privacy gets called in question, you're going to want to be able to go home and lock those doors or get inside your sanctuary and not be bothered. There's people, man, that get on a certain level and they got cameras coming in through their windows. There's drones outside their living room windows, their bathroom windows, their bedroom windows, trying to catch something. It's tough to get on that level. But at this level, look, I'm so glad. I think the people that have the most staying power are the ones that will sign an autograph for a fan, will stop and talk. I guess Paul McCartney still stops and talks. He doesn't have to deal with fans anymore. He doesn't have to deal with anything. At a certain age, at a certain level, you should be able to just walk the streets and not be bothered. But if people come up to him or to people like you and want to say hi, you're open to that. And I appreciate that, man. I like that. Because we're all in this together. I think we started this conversation off with we're all pretty much wanting the same things. And one of those things might be friendship, might be, the accolades of others, the approval of others. Some people, hey, look, at a certain age, you don't give a care. I think it's F's that the kids are talking about. You don't care about what other people think. But in reality, in the back of your head, you want to be liked at some point. And hey, look, I'm already a fan, Scott.
I mean, it's only human nature. It's human nature. We all want to be liked and accepted. It's part of our DNA. But,
Well, Scotty Willard, Stillwater Junction, you got a fan on this side. I'm looking forward to hearing more over time as time progresses. Every time I see you on social media, I'm going to try to share whatever you post. Okay, and that's the least someone can do if they become a Stillwater Junction fan, is when you see their stuff, hey, give it a like, give it a share, give it a comment. Make sure that algorithm points right back to Stillwater Junction, because that's part of it. That's how the venues find you. There's some people won't hire you unless you have a certain amount of fans. Oh, he's only got 100 fans. Oh, I don't know if he's going to bring enough people to my venue. All right, I want to see millions of fans heading out to Stillwater Junction. How about that? How'd that be? Okay? All right, let's land this plane. I like to give shout-outs to people that have helped you along the way, and then we'll close this thing up with some last words. Give some shout-outs, Scotty.
I like to give a shout-out to my band members, Benny, Ray, and Nate. And also, I like to give a shout-out to my wife, Brandy. All of our fans, we love y'all. You know we do. Continue to keep coming out to our shows. Keep supporting us. We've got big things on the horizon. We've been trying to keep you informed of it. If you'd like to follow us, if you don't know who we are and you're just meeting us, follow us on any social media. You can download and stream our music on all streaming platforms. You can look us up on stillwaterjunction.com. You can find all the information that you need to on there as well.
Well, all right. Hey, I always finish these things off with.
Go ahead.
I'd
like to thank Big Records. Sorry about that. Like to thank Big Records, Mark Rosnan at Big Records. I'd like to thank Jace at the Disability Channel. Would like to thank Tara as well, who was part of our team from Big Records. Jenny, who was part of our team from Big Records. Would also like to give a big shout out to Brian from Grace Music Management Group. We're looking forward to working with you. And we will see you at a show and a state here soon.
Fantastic. All right, man. I like to finish these things off with last words for the people. This could be words to live by. This could be a mantra you heard that you wake up with every morning. Maybe some words of wisdom that you heard a long time ago, or whatever pops into your head at this moment in time. Scotty Willard of Stillwater Junction, give the last words for the people.
The only person that can keep you from achieving your dream is the person you see in the morning staring back at you in the mirror.
Well, there you have it, party people. Scotty Willard of Stillwater Junction. Man, he's had a life, okay? He's been through ups. He's been through downs. I didn't drill in onto what the what the downs were, or even the ups, okay? I'm glad the ups are more up than down. I didn't want to drill in too hard. If you want to talk about that kind of stuff, that's fine. Talk about it. It's your story here on the What Makes You Famous podcast. But if you don't want to talk about it, you just want to mention, hey, I got some ups, I got some downs. I'm doing good right now. I'm glad you found love. I'm glad the kids are doing all right. I'm glad the band is doing all right. 3 years in the fourth year now. and Stillwater Junction is just going strong, man. It happens fast sometimes. You put your mind into it, and then you get a good group of people that'll help you to get to the next level, like Big Records, Big Records. Those guys, Mark and Tara, and the rest of the folks over at Big Records are helping you get to that next level, helping you get some shows, getting more ears on your music. You're doing it. You're doing the job. You're doing what you need to do in the business to keep the music going. And you got help, and you got people that are going to get you to the next level. I'm going to try to do my best to get you a little further. All right. Thanks for being on the What Makes You Famous podcast, Scotty Willard of Stillwater Junction. And now this ends this edition of What Makes You Famous. Now, if you, my loyal listener, if you'd like to tell your story, I encourage you to give me a call, 501-470-6386, or email KeysDAN@AOL.com. That's it for me. It's KeysDAN, RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com. Peace. I'm out of here.